Hey guys, Automatic Garage back today, and when I show y'all what I'm getting ready to show you, you're gonna be like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing it that way? Well, this has been an absolute royal pain in the butt. I've always kind of patted myself on the back of, I can have a turbo off of 6.0 in like 20 minutes. Well, not this one. We're going on probably 3 hours with this stupid turbo. So I'm gonna turn y'all around here. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a backstory on the truck and why we're not just cutting a bunch of stuff up and spending a bunch of money, because I'm trying to help somebody out. So let me show y'all what we got. So this is a 03 with I think it's 137,000 miles, bone stock. Nothing's deleted. Still have the EGR and everything. So I've got the EGR cooler off, and I did it with the intake just like that. Well, the intake was down. I got everything loose, raised the intake up, pulled it out. But anyways, it's all because of this stupid the 03 turbo bolt on the back. And it's totally rounded off now. I don't usually have this kind of trouble with them, but it's FUBAR. So, as you know, on 03, it's got the crossover tube on the back of the intake, so you can't get the intake out now either without pulling the turbo. So the backstory on this truck is he bought it at a used car dealership in Florida. He got about 3 hours, headed back towards Tennessee, and truck lost power, cut off a couple times. He ended up having it towed here. We got one totally dead injector, 2 more that are on their way out. We got a ruptured oil cooler. The degas bottle's in the back of the truck, but it looks like chocolate milk. So yeah, we're doing an updated OEM oil cooler. We're doing all new injectors. So yeah, anyways, we're just trying to get that done. Air conditioner went out on it too, blew the AC clutch out on it. You can barely see it right there while he was driving home too. And they said, hey man, we understand, we'll help you out. So I wrote him up a nice big quote for this whole thing, which, as most of y'all should know, you don't just replace a injector on a 6.0. You're gonna at least do the whole bank you're working on, and optimally do the whole set of injectors when you can. And they said, yeah, we'll buy you one injector and we'll pay for the AC clutch. So yeah, they really helped him out. So I'm not gonna say the name of the dealership, but let's just take a look at the truck right here. So yeah, this is the back of the truck here. But anyways, they shafted him. So what we're doing here, I got the EGR cooler off because that was part of what's keeping me from getting the turbo out. I'm trying to pull the turbo with the pedestal on it, is the whole point of this whole thing here. EGR cooler was keeping me from getting the pedestal tilted up. So now I can't get the turbo far enough forward because of the oil cooler. So now what I'm gonna try to do is we're gonna pull off our oil filter top on the oil cooler here. And I'm gonna pull all the oil cooler bolts. We're gonna attempt to get the oil cooler out, which will free that up. I can slide the turbo forward and then pull it out and then pull the intake, and then we'll be ready to actually get on with this whole job that I could have already had apart and probably be on my way to putting it back together at this point, as much time as I spent on it. So let's see if we can tackle this. This is not the optimal way to do this. There's other techniques. Diesel Techronics has a real good video on taking that bolt out when it's stuck. I have tried all of those methods. I tried using another extractor that I have here. I had a parts place run me a new set of OEM Tools extractors. I tried that on the head. I tried the 17 millimeter on grabbing the collar. I've soaked the bolt with knocker loose. Tried everything, can't get it loose. I can't get a welder back there to weld a nut onto it. I can't get a grinder back there to grind the head off on it. And I tried to get my smaller Dremel tool back there thinking, well, I can just grind and grind and grind on the head and get the head all ground down. Well, by the time you put an air hose on it, there's not enough room to work that around with the firewall back there either. So just bear with me here. This may be an alternate method for those of you that may run into this same problem on these 03s. So let's get the top off the the oil cooler top, and get all that off and see how this works. Enough talking, let's do something. So what I'm gonna do first is, before I mess this anymore, now I got the intake raised up and all the intake runners are open, I'm gonna get my shop vac. I'm gonna vacuum everything up here so we don't have a bunch of crap fall down in the motor. And I'm gonna stick paper towels down them and suck the stuff up everywhere else because we don't want to get a bunch of contaminants in the motor. So I'm gonna do my best to keep everything clean. Now, of course, the oil cooler's coming out. I don't really care if stuff gets in there. All that's gonna get cleaned out anyways. But we definitely don't want stuff falling down our intake runner. And I need to remember, I need to stick a paper towel in the turbo drain back that goes into the high pressure oil pump there because we don't want anything falling back or rolling back in there or something like that if a bolt or something was to fall out. So I'm gonna do that first and then we'll get to taking the top off. All right, we have our holes all filled up except for the very back two because the intake is pretty much sitting on top of them still, but hey, I'm doing all that I can. We got all of the top bolts that hold the oil filter portion onto the oil cooler top. All those are out. It is loose. So I'm gonna set y'all over here to the side and make sure we can snake this thing out, and then we can start breaking all of our 10 millimeters loose that hold the oil cooler down to the valley there. I would have never thought about ever doing this way. I'm gonna start getting all the oil cooler top bolts loose, which is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. But this intake right here in the way. It hurt my hand. Now our only question is, are we going to actually be able to clear the oil cooler? This is hanging out the bottom here. Yes, we are. Alright, now that we got that out, we're going to set our intake back down. We're going to slide our turbo flow. I bet that's going to be the first way now. Maybe not. This will be the first time I ever pulled one out with the freaking pedestal on it. Not because I want it to. Makes it even freaking heavier. We might as well just go on and pull the intake. While y'all are watching me take stuff on. I hate these freaking early intakes with that crossover. This all could have been easier just a minute ago. It didn't happen. So now that all this garbage is out, let me show you the whole reason we just did all this. That little SOB right there. So I guess just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna try a pair of vice grips on it real quick. I bet I can get it loose. The problem is your hand is coming over from here. Well, so you see the bolt there. So usually you're standing in front of the turbo about like this, and you're reaching over here, and I could touch it like that, but I couldn't see it. So that's about all I could do, like that. I could bring my other hand around this way, kind of over the downpipe. So some of you may be saying, hey, why didn't you just chop the downpipe off and see if you could get to it better that way. Well, I'm trying to save this guy some money because he got took. Yeah, there may have been some things he could have checked better before we bought the truck, but trying to keep his exhaust intact and save as much as we can while still doing this right at the same time. And if I could do it without hacking his exhaust up or messing with the up pipes or any of that, and getting it where he could be on the road and we could address some of these other problems later. I already kind of had to convince him to do everything but head studding. He's like, well, I definitely can't afford the studs. I was like, well, that's fine. You don't have a head gasket problem right now. Let's do everything else to make the truck prevent having a head gasket problem as much as possible. So we're gonna get rid of the thing that goes right here. I'm not even gonna say it. 3-letter abbreviation. So we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna do the coolant filtration, putting an updated OEM oil cooler, all new OEM injectors. Of course, we're flushing the whole system really good. We flushed it with Cascade, and we're gonna do the VC9 and Cascade again when we get it apart because of the contamination. And what else? I guess that's it for right now. Oh, blue spring mod also while we're doing all this. So I'm gonna try to get this bolt out for y'all just to see how it comes out. And then I'm probably gonna pause y'all. I'm gonna clean all this up, let you see what this looks like cleaned up. If you hadn't watched any of my other videos, I'm really particular about having all this be as clean as possible before it goes back together. And we'll wrap this up. There you have it, all cleaned up. And what I do is I plug that drain back hole. That's normally where your screen is. There's the screen. We just have one little section that it wasn't totally blown out. It's still there, but that was good. So this is all cleaned out. The only thing I will do to prep this anymore is I'll probably hit it one more time with brake cleaner right before I put the oil cooler and the top and everything back on here. And then I'll blow it out with compressed air real good and then put my screen and everything on it. I'll wipe this top edge one more time prior to that also, so that my seal has a totally clean spot to go on. We cleaned up this bottom edge of the heads here where it comes down to the valley, and we cleaned up all around that edge of the high pressure oil pump cover. Anyways, that's how you do that. Just plug everything up, clean it. That's about 3 cans of brake cleaner to get it real nice and clean. A little bit of scrubbing. All right, guys, hopefully this video maybe helped you out a little bit in case you run into this same problem and just can't extract that bolt or figure a way to get it out the back. So it can be done on a 03 with the crossover on the back of the intake there like that. It's just a little bit of a pain, like as you saw there. But I'm tickled pink we got it off because we wasted probably a good 2.5 to 3 hours messing with that bolt just to do this work that I could almost be putting it together, or I would be putting it together now. But anyways, so tickled. Had me a bush latte. It's only like 12:30, but hey, gotta celebrate. Anyways, Automated Garage signing out. Y'all like, subscribe, comment, check us out at Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. Got a whole bunch of videos coming up, future stuff. I got some videos coming on my 7.3. Done some over needed maintenance and kind of upgrades to it. I just put a video up of Gary's truck fixing a high pressure oil pump leak on it. Getting ready to throw a cam in the old 67 F100. So y'all just hit that subscribe button. We got plenty of Ford content, and we throw some other odd and ends in here every now and then too. So it's Automated Garage signing out. We'll holler at y'all later.